greatest weekend ever. I'm Cynthia Loyce. For those of you I haven't met, I am one of the co-hosts of Inner Space on the Space Channel. And of course, how many of you were here last night for the TNG reunion? Wasn't it amazing? I laughed, I cried, it was just incredible. Of course, we saved the best for last, and our next guest, of course, needs no introduction. Please give it up for Sir Patrick Stewart. Chair, of course. Last night someone put me in that chair. What? Apparently it reclines as well. So, how did you feel about last night?
First of all, I'm going to have to apologize a little bit. My voice is tired. My voice arrived in Calgary a little tired, and everything that has happened since then hasn't done much to make it much stronger, so I'm sorry. Last night was, of course, an entirely unique occasion. We have had groups of the crew of the Enterprise together before, but never a complete number, with the addition of Will coming in and Denise as well, which made it very special for all of us. And I think for you perhaps as well as for us, it was the fact that we were all together that made it so very special. But the kindness and generosity that you all showed was, even in a world where perhaps we've at times become a little blasé about how we are perceived, last night was extraordinary. Thank you very much.
And of course, we also had a little bit of a surprise for you last night.
Oh yes, there was a surprise last night, which I sort of messed up really by not taking my cue about who was my biggest nemesis on the show. And the fact of the matter is that I never really regarded Q as being a nemesis, because I always had so much fun in all the Q episodes. John Delancey is a fabulous actor to work with, and an interesting and nice man. And so it would never have occurred to me to have said Q. And so I searched around for the real bad guy, who was, of course, Damon Bach. But you know, you've got to love a Ferengi, haven't you? Finally, ultimately, you've got to love them.
Well, from Jean-Luc Picard to Charles Xavier, you've played a lot of roles that radiate a kind of authority, measured with a really strong sense of respect and wisdom. Do you have a favorite character that you've played?
I'm really sorry to have to tell you that I don't. I've been immensely blessed in my career to have played a lot of really fine roles. And very often, the role that I am playing at that moment seems to me to be the most exciting, the most interesting, the most compelling role that I've ever played. I've just finished playing William Shakespeare in a play about the last days of Shakespeare's life in Stratford-on-Avon in retirement. What was happening to this genius when he was living in a little sleepy market town? No tourists came to Stratford-on-Avon in those days. And I loved performing that play so much that I kind of had withdrawal symptoms when it ended. But you know, there are countless numbers of thrilling roles that I've had a chance to play, and I hope they're not over. I hope there are still some to come.
Sure there will be. I'm going to open it up to the floor. We've got a question from Logan. left-hand side, mic 6. Hello, Logan. Logan, over here, way over here, yes.
Hi, thank you very much. Mr. Stewart, you're fantastic. The role, the cast, everything was fantastic. That being said, they've done a very successful relaunch of the original Star Trek. If they were to recast Next Generation, who would you like playing you? Picard. Besides yourself.
You mean if they were to cast some youngsters?
To give somebody else a chance. Breakout role. Not that you can't do the job.
Forgive me, maybe I'm a little tired, but do you mean if there were to be a prequel movie, who would play me?
No, more like a reboot.
Why would they do that?
We have another question from Lauren, who is on mic 5 to the...
Where?
There, okay, yes.
Out of all 3 X-Men movies, which would you say was the most fun acting in?
I would say number 2, for this reason. I love working with Bryan Singer, and by the time we came to number 2, we were very established, not only in our roles, but in the whole world of the X-Men. We were comfortable with one another. You know, we started shooting the first X-Men, and Wolverine was not cast. And one morning, this nice Australian guy showed up, and we were filming, and he said, "Oh, I'm here to do a screen test for Wolverine." So he hung out with us for a while, and then he went off to do his screen test, and we all said, you know, break a leg, and then we said, he's adorable. So when he came back and told us, actually all he told us was he thought it had gone well. We kept our fingers crossed, because Mr. Jackman is a wonderful guy.
Do you have any thoughts? Did you see the X-Men Origins?
I'm sorry?
Have you seen the prequel, the X-Men Origins?
You mean X-Men First Class?
First Class, sorry, oh my goodness. Long weekend for me too.
And I thought that I was in the company of people who really knew this. The fact of the matter is that is usually me saying that. Yeah, it's like the guy, did I say this last night? I can't remember. We had so much fun. Did I say last night about the guy who got into an elevator? I was coming down a high-rise building in San Francisco very recently, and I could tell at once that he'd had a few drinks. Actually, it was a guy and his wife, because there are 2 parts to this story. And the guy said, oh my God, I love you, you're fantastic. He said, turned to his wife and he said, honey, this is Dr. Spock. From Star Wars. Poor guy, I mean, I could see where he was coming from. But the fact was he had every detail wrong. Except for the star part, I guess. But it didn't end there, because his wife said, honey, no, that's not Dr. Spock. Sir Ben Kingsley.
They knew they recognized you.
Yeah, they knew they recognized me. I guess they'd had a good evening.
Lauren is the next question. Mic 3, floor left. Hello, Lauren.
My question is, how has participating in epic science fiction entertainment impacted your appreciation of real-world science?
That's a good one. Wow.
This is the kind of question like, Patrick, what science fiction books have you been reading recently? Because the answer is always none. I don't read science fiction. I mean, I've had one go at all the acknowledged great authors, Arthur C. Clarke, Isaac Asimov, Brian Aldiss. You know, I've read one of each and felt it wasn't for me. Sure, I am interested in science because my level of ignorance is just about total. And the one thing that I really miss about not being in the United States is the weekly science supplement in the New York Times, because that supplement is packed with not only fascinating material, but understandable material for a bear of little brain. It's really, really an excellent read. But beyond that, I don't pay too much attention, I'm afraid. The one thing I do pay a lot of attention to in the field of science is issues of global warming, because it seems to me that, you know, there's always been warfare of one kind or another. There's always been disease of one kind or another. There have always been appalling accidents and tragedies of one kind or another. Global warming of the kind that we are experiencing is happening for the first time, and we are the cause. So I take an interest.
The next question from Christine, and she's on floor left on mic 3.
Sir Patrick, I'm over here on this side. To your left. Same place. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'll try to focus. I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much for coming to Calgary and for being in Canada.